commit to the run because it sets up everything else that they want on the back end. To be able to attack this Titans secondary, you have to first get those safeties to commit 8 in the box, one-on-one coverage you take advantage of. When you do that, to do that, you got to run the football.
Bart Scott on Get Up. NBA X-rays on Hornets point guard LaMelo Ball's left ankle were negative. He has been ruled out tomorrow night against Cleveland. The team says at this point it's too early to know how much time he'll miss after re-injuring his ankle last night.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. WIN. That's WIN. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. And it is 1 week to the best holiday of the year, the Thanksgiving holiday.
The eating holiday.
The eating holiday. I mean, aren't they all eating holidays?
Oh,
really?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what we do. We're Southerners, and that's what we do.
This is just the only one where the highlight is the eating. There's no presents. There's no fireworks. Just you, a fork, a knife, and happiness.
Which, if you're sick and tired of people putting up their Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving, then Thanksgiving needs to have those other things. It needs to have lights. It needs to have presents. It needs to have something other than just one day of binge eating.
Oh, hey,
well,
it's
3
not.
days.
Oh, there you go. And it has
3 days with
turkey.
the leftovers. Right, it's got all the leftover Sammys that you can handle. Yes, the Thanksgiving holiday is just around the corner. We are 1 week away from that. Programming note, we will not be with you on Thanksgiving, nor will we be here on Black Friday either. So
Tank's got to go out and get his low priced televisions and things of the like.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, does Goodwill have Black Friday deals? Can I get my new clothes for 10 cents instead of 25 cents?
You make my head hurt.
It's the reason why the imaging says one is cheaper than oxygen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the program here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Take us with you everywhere you go, live or on demand. Coming to you from the Ingles Studio, and you can also join us on YouTube, see our pretty faces, or in my case, my whitewashed face.
King Boo. I'll never unsee that.
Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel while you are there. That's how you get into the chat with us each and every day. Yes, today is a Thursday. We got Thursday night football coming up tonight, but we need to start out the program with our heartfelt sympathies for the family of Pat Ryan, who was on the competitor's radio station for many, many years. He was a cornerstone of the Asheville area, the sports community in the Asheville area, longtime writer for the Asheville Citizen-Times, and of course, I mean, he was one of the people that made us believe that this thing that we do each and every day could be possible. We basically took the Pat Ryan playbook when we started this show. And Pat was awesome about it. I sent him an email the first time that we had this idea saying, hey, just want to let you know we're going to try to do the same thing. We can prove that this town can hold 2 sports shows and we can be successful at it. And he was always open. Anytime I had a question, anytime I needed help, he said, just give me a call. Let me know. Competition is good for everybody. And he was just a hell of a guy. And he passed away, unfortunately, this morning from a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Tried to fight it as best he could, but as we all know, our times all come at some point, and unfortunately, today's was Pat's.
As somebody that was involved in athletics around this area, and now as somebody that's been a radio host in this area, there would be no us without Pat Ryan.
No.
It couldn't have happened. And for that, we will be eternally thankful, and thoughts and prayers with the family It's a very sad day.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. But our thoughts are with the family, and we love you, buddy, and we will see you again someday. Now, we've got a lot to get into today. We got Jones Angell coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. Talk about the Tar Heels' big game against Georgia Tech this weekend. Of course, after you've sewn up the ACC championship appearance against Clemson, what's left? What's left to prove? There's a whole lot left to prove for the North Carolina Tar Heels, and Jones Angell will fill us in on all of that. Plus, yes, we will talk to him about the basketball team, and though they're 3-0, there are some questions about where this team is headed in the next few weeks. We also will be doing our daily draft at the top of the third hour of the program, where Jeremy and I will be drafting the best college football jobs in this next cycle. Not only the ones that are open, but ones that we think could come open. And, of course, Thursday night football preview, Tennessee Titans against the Green Bay Packers. And Jeremy's got bangers for you as well.
I do.
As well. So all of it coming your way here over the next 3 hours here on ESPN Asheville. But first, the Las Vegas Raiders. I didn't
think this could get worse.
Right. I've been saying for weeks that I believe they need to just blow this thing up. They made a mistake hiring Josh McDaniels, and they need to get out of it. Well, it turns out they really can't. At least according to reports. Bill Plaschke put this out.
Bill Plaschke's been around this business for a while. So I would say he didn't say this if he didn't have a real good source on it.
Oh, he's absolutely in the know.
His quote was, "I'm saying right now, Josh McDaniels will be the coach this year and next year. Raiders don't have the money to fire him, to pay him off. They're cash poor." That may not sound like a big deal. It's a huge deal. That's basically signaling to the league, we're not an NFL franchise. If you are so cash-strapped that you can't get out of a coaching hire, you're not competitive in this league. You're not. We've said this with quarterbacks, that there are certain owners that have the cash on hand to go very large signing bonus that has to be paid and blah, 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 all the minutia of everyday life. We're talking about $15 million here. I mean, this is a gigantic, different situation for a team that just built one of the nicest stadiums in sports, and you're telling me you don't have the revenue streams to get out of a bad coaching hire?
Yeah, but it would also be the second one, right? Don't they still owe money to John Gruden?
That's being litigated, I believe.
Well, you got that on top of it as well. You got
fine.
Legal fees that you have to pay. Yes, they just moved to a new spot, but they paid $2 billion for that stadium. Now, obviously, that didn't just come like Mark Davis had to write a check for $2 billion to build that stadium. We all know that's not how it works. But,
nope.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and maybe this is more of just we just can't afford it in our coaching budget or whatever.
I will tell you exactly how this was said to me. This would be like somebody that is searching for real estate in the nicest area of town, and then you go to McDonald's and their card gets declined for a cheeseburger.
Mm-hmm.
That's verbatim how this was said to me earlier. This will not be treated like the big deal that it is. This is a gigantic deal. This basically, and look, we always knew that Mark Davis was on the lower end of NFL owners. Most of his wealth comes from the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in this situation, every agent, every player, every coach, everything is going to look around and go, not an NFL organization. There are 31 teams because they're irrelevant. And look, we did this for a lot of years. There were a lot of teams in the 70s, 80s, 90s that it wasn't to the USFL where they're bouncing paychecks, but you knew you don't necessarily belong here.
Right.
You're not floating in the same financial stratosphere. If you're to this point, this is a nightmare. And I can't believe I can't believe that Mark Davis hasn't said something about this of, no, that's not. I'm not going to believe your denial, even if you do it.
I was going to say he can't. I mean, at this point, if it were absolutely false, no doubt, he would be out there with his weird little haircut screaming to high holy hell, no, this is not true. The fact that he's not tells you, yeah, it may be true. It absolutely may be true, and there's nothing that he can say. Because you're in the situation that you're in. Things are as they are. I just don't have the money to be able to do this right now. We got to stick with what we have. We got to see what the culture building's going to be like with Dolph Ziggler and
Dave Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is a bad professional wrestler.
Yes, I know. With Josh McDaniels and Patrick Graham, let's just see what they can do. We know this year hasn't been good, but we have to stick with it while we can because we just can't afford not only the $15 million to have to pay him, whatever we're paying to have to fight with John Gruden or whatever we've paid John Gruden on the side, then we got to go hire another coach for another $100 million or whatever you're going to throw out to a new head coach.
No, it's not going to be $100 million for a coach.
Not a year, obviously, but
no.
That whole deal, depending on who you could get.
Unless it's 20 years long, it's not going to be that high. And the highest paid coach in the league doesn't make $100 million in a decade. So, all right, it's not that extravagant. RJ in our comments said, I thought the NFL verified owners' income since the bankruptcy thing. They do. This team was inherited. So there's really nothing that you can do.
No.
This family, or the Davis family owned this team. Al Davis passed away. It went to the son. So I'm not going to say that they didn't do some checks into his financials. There's not a whole lot you could do. The reason this is such a big deal is something we talked about yesterday. This team's going to pick in the top 5 because they're just flat out not good.
Mm-hmm.
That means you can't get out of Derek Carr either.
Right.
That means you're stuck. You are as stuck as I have ever seen an NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that somebody with this level of reputation has come out and put their name on this. He said this on an ESPN national show. It was on Around the Horn.
Yep.
That tells me there's something. There's fire here. That means there's fire here. You would be an unnamed source if you didn't know something. If I was a Raiders fan today, it's not a good day. Not a good day.
We have a super chat here.
Oh, button.
Yep.
I'm your huckleberry.
Armchair Commentary says, we should have known he was broke. Look at the haircut.
Oh, yeah. He gets his haircut at the barber college, so we should have known he wasn't necessarily flush.
Hit it again.
I'm your huckleberry.
Soaring Eagle 175 in the YouTube comments. That 10-year, $100 million deal for John Gruden is looking worse and worse by the day.
And that's what bothers me. What bothers me is that you had enough money to do that, which at the time was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
There were people around the league going, wait, you did what? And now you're allegedly so cash-strapped that you can't get out of Josh McDaniels? That tells me this is headed down a path that is not going to be great.
Zion 2215 says if they don't have the money, why would they go out and sign those big contracts in the offseason?
Look at how the contracts are. Look at the framework. Your cash in does not really matter outside of signing bonuses. We talked about this with Lamar Jackson because Steve Bisciotti he's done okay. So he's got a lot of money laying around to give Lamar Jackson basically anything he wants. If you frame these deals in a certain way, which they did, I looked, that doesn't necessarily matter. You overpay on the back end, but you don't have to come out of pocket for some gigantic amount in the beginning. It would be very troubling to me for the Raiders.
Yeah, it is troubling. It is troubling,
especially as poorly as you've drafted.
That is true. You don't have the ability to replace the talent that you've wasted those picks on.
That's the way that teams that don't have owners that are cash flush, that's the way they survive.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Snyder always had more money than you could shake a stick at. That's why he went through all those years where he would go chase free agents trying to fill holes. He invested the money in players, not in scouts. So they're shooting draft capital into a well. But he had the money to go replace it. It didn't work out well.
My answer to Zion of why did they do this if they knew they didn't have money? How do you make more money? Win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Exactly.
It's the Al Davis model.
Right.
Just win, baby.
And so he thought, the organization thought, we'll pay out this big amount of money. What was it, $140 million contract that they gave to Devontae Adams? We'll give him the contract. He'll come in. They'll reignite the Fresno State days between him and Derek Carr. Will be a contender like we all thought they would be in the offseason. And it hasn't happened. It's been an absolute and utter disaster. You work yourself down to that thin red line of, whether you're gonna run in the black or you're gonna run in the red, and you gotta work that line as thin as you can because times are tight. When we start winning, and when we win 10, 12 games, whatever it's going to be this year, we get into the playoffs. That boosts merchandise, that boosts ticket sales, it boosts all these things. Sponsorships with the new stadium and in Vegas, and then we'll be on solid ground. The problem they run into now, though, is it's been an utter disaster, and now they have to save face. That's why you've seen in the last 7 days, everybody and their brother within that organization is backing Josh McDaniels. It's not because they believe in him as a coach.
Nope.
It's because they know they know the deal. I don't buy that Derek Carr is happy. But
I do.
But that's the face.
I buy that Derek Carr's happy.
Oh, you think so?
Absolutely. Look how unstable his tenure with the Raiders has been.
Mm-hmm.
I don't discredit that at all. He knows he can't have John Gruden back. I don't want to learn another system. I want to keep just as copacetic as we can keep it. I don't want to do this again.
I don't believe that. I believe Derek Carr wants to win, and that's why you saw him start sobbing at the podium last week. When they lose that game to the Indianapolis Colts, and Derek Carr is up there just, crying in his cereal. Well, of course he is, because he wanted to win. He knows it's not possible now, or at least this year, he knows it's not possible. And he knows there's no way out.
You know what? I think I figured it out. You know why Derek Carr was crying so hard at the podium? They had just told him that now he has to get his hair cut by the same guy that cuts Mark Davis's hair.
Oh, you're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. Auto Trader.
Are you sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back? You know joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love, it affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses advanced regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged joint tissue, giving you your life back. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. Powerful healing agents, highly concentrated. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain caused by arthritis or injury. No drugs, no pain meds, no downtime. This is an all-natural treatment that can get you lasting relief. People here are raving about the results. Call now. Appointments are available for this coming week. QC Kinetics. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517 with locations in Asheville and in Greenville. Again, that's 828-333-9517.
Dell Technologies' Black Friday event has arrived with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 50% off select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The Sportsocracy.
Who we gotta cheer for on Sundays now?
Ah, the sounds of every sad Raiders fan going.
I can't believe you got the audio of Derek Carr that quick.
Every Raiders fan going, oh, we're stuck with this.
And now anybody that thinks I'm overvaluing this, do you know who the cash poorest owners in the NFL are?
No.
Mark Davis is dead last.
Yeah.
Now that's taking out the Packers because technically they don't have an owner. It's owned by the city of Green Bay. It's commercially
and
traded.
The shareholders, right?
Yeah. You have shareholders that kind of takes you out of this. But that's also why they don't do free agency. I've always kind of laughed at that. Well, they don't spend big in free agency because they can't. How do you not get this? Mark Davis is dead last.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Brown is right above him. The Rooney family with the Steelers, of which I'll get to them in a second. The McCaskies in Chicago and Ziggy Wilf with the Minnesota Vikings. You know what all those teams have in common?
What's that?
They've virtually all been bad for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you can't compete with the David Teppers of the world. That would be a reason for Carolina Panthers fans to be really excited. Because if you look at the opposite side of this, the only one that's in the top 10 that's been bad for a long time is Shad Khan. And that's because he's a Mario villain. He's a bad guy from a 40s film. So maybe not the smartest owner you've ever seen.
Right.
This is the reason that when we talk about Daniel Snyder, he's going to have to say, there's only a handful of people that could buy it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's going to be Jeff Bezos. Look, we called that from the second this happened.
Right. And here's the people that are shocked by this, just keep in mind, I know you've already said this, but it kind of gets buried in the message. Mark Davis doesn't have outside income.
No.
His income is from the team. Mm-hmm. His wealth is from his dad owning the team since the 1960s or whatever. Like, he doesn't have the gobs of money that a David Tepper has made in hedge funds, or, you know, he's not a real estate guy like Stan Kroenke, or this is all he has. And so that's why they're in the situation that they're in. And I believe the same would fall in line for the McCaskey family with the Chicago Bears. I mean, it's just been that is their business.
And then use the Buffalo Bills as an example. The Wilson family had to sell because they didn't have cash on hand. The Pegulas show up. They're in the top 12-ish of owners. It gets very reported wealth when you get into this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Bills are good. Does that strike you as strange? It shouldn't.
No.
Because the Stephon Diggs deal would never have happened with Ralph Wilson. It happened with the Pegulas.
Right.
Because they have the cash to just go, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That make you feel warm and fuzzy? I thought so.
And just wait until the Bezos money kicks in with the Washington Commanders. They will be.
That's why Washington
they will
should
be
be
America's new team.
That's why Washington fans should be sitting around going, "Can we get this today? Can we just do it today? Maybe you two meet, hash this out, figure out a number, and we can just move on."
I mean, they've been saying that for 10 years now. That's nothing new.
Yeah, but now I feel like you're at the 10-yard line now.
Oh yeah.
We were surfing around the 50 until he went, maybe I have to sell.
They're not only in the red zone at this point. I mean, they are first and goal. Actually, I think it's more like third and goal, and you're just waiting. It depends on who's making that call.
I mean, Jeff Bezos just gave Dolly Parton $100 million for being a good person. I don't think he cares what this number is.
He did, and I wish that was going to filter down to her distant relatives.
No, it's going to charity. You greedy individual.
I didn't.
You
say
are not
I wanted
a charity.
all of it. I just wanted a piece of it. Come on.
Cheaper than oxygen.
Exactly. I could hit all of the Goodwill sales. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It's time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Saw this, and I think this is the only right answer for the ACC to do. Feel-good story of the day. The ACC as a whole is going to come together to support the University of Virginia after the tragedy that took place on their campus over the weekend. Sunday night, I know you've probably all heard this story, 3 UVA football players were shot on a charter bus coming back from a school trip. Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry were all shot and killed in that attack. One other player, Mike Hollins, he was shot and is battling right now for his life. They do expect him to make a full recovery. There was another student that was shot as well, not a football player. I don't know the name. I apologize. But there is a suspect in custody. Hopefully, he will spend a long, long time in jail. But this weekend, the ACC as a whole, league-wide initiative, is going to show their support for Virginia, as every ACC home stadium this week will have field signage and graphics on the scoreboards saying UVA strong. All players in the ACC will be wearing helmet decals saying something similar, having the Virginia logo on it, something to that effect. Everyone rallying around Virginia as they should in this time. It's a horrible incident that happened. UVA has already canceled their football game for this weekend. It was going to be the final home game of the season against Coastal Carolina. They are still debating whether or not they are going to play next week against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg for that big rivalry game. Instead of having the game against Coastal Carolina this weekend, they will be hosting a memorial service for the 3 football players on Saturday afternoon at 3:30 in the basketball arena. Good on the ACC and all of the other teams for showing their support in just a devastating time for the University of Virginia.
My story also comes from college football. This is a lot more irreverent of a story than yours. And it starts with Charles Barkley, who's shocked. He appeared on the Next Round show Thursday and just kind of haphazardly threw out a bombshell. His quote was, "I think there's going to be a shocker firing in the SEC, and I know for a fact they're probably going to go after Deion." Now, if you go down the rabbit hole here, there's only one school he could possibly be talking about, and it's Texas A&M. Nobody else fits.
Yeah, nobody with that high profile.
I mean, Vanderbilt's, 2 years into Clark Lay? This had one of the
way.
biggest wins in the last 20 years.
There would be no way.
It's not them. And he said firing, not surprise opening.
Right. I was going to say Deion wouldn't even consider going to Vanderbilt.
Well, and then that creates would he consider going to Texas A&M?
Absolutely.
I'm not as sure of that.
Why?
That's not as good a job as people pawn it off to be.
Really?
Jimbo Fisher just signed the #1 recruiting class in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're awful, but you have hope for the future.
Mm-hmm.
There are GoFundMes to pay his buyout.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been good. They've always had money. I don't know where this myth comes that, well, this is new money. No, it's not. They've had this for 30 years, and they were still irrelevant. And now you're in the SEC, and you have Oklahoma and Texas showing up. That doesn't make you a good job. Which is why in the beginning of the 3 o'clock hour, or now I'm doing what you do.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the 3rd hour, we're going to do a daily draft of the jobs that are already open and the ones that we think could come open. And I'll go ahead and tell you I'm not taking Texas A&M nearly as high as you think I will.
I will. You can rest assured I will, because I completely disagree with you. That especially in the NIL days that we live in, that is one of the best jobs you could have.
I disagree with you so vehemently.
Especially for a guy like Deion, who we know he can recruit anyway without all the money.
So how exactly is he going to recruit better than Jimbo Fisher? You just had the #1 recruiting class, in some estimations, ever.
Yeah, in the history of college football. I get it.
And it still didn't make you good.
Of course it didn't.
That's the high side with Deion.
Did you really expect they were going to bring in all these 5-star freshmen and without a good head coach, they were going to be good? Of course not. I mean, that's like expecting the Texas high school all-star team to beat Texas. It's not going to happen.
Since 1999, how many 10-win seasons does Texas A&M have?
How many?
How many 10-win seasons does Texas A&M have since 1999?
2.
You're too high.
1. Okay.
And that was with Kevin Sumlin.
The Johnny Manziel year?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not a good job. And I'll be really honest with you. My feeling on this is if that's the best that's out there, Deion will go back to Jackson State. Because you got to understand, he's not worried about money. You're not going to swoon me with money. Deion Sanders has got generational wealth off endorsements, his name. He still makes a ton of money off endorsements. You're not swaying him with that. So I'm going to come to Texas A&M and be what, the 5th best team in this conference at best? I'm in a conference with Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly, and soon to be Steve Sarkisian. Yeah, I think I'm going to be Seacrest out on that. I said the same thing I said about Auburn. Why in the world would I do that? Oh, because you're going to pay me more money? That's the one thing I don't care about. I want to win. I don't think you can win at Texas A&M.
I don't think Deion. We need to take a break. Let's take a break, and we'll talk about this after the break because we've got some disagreements here. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. You can weigh in on this as well on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Remaining unseasonably cold right through the upcoming weekend. Mainly clear skies here tonight, all the way down to the low 20s. Lots of sunshine for us again tomorrow, but again, another chilly day. Highs only in the middle to upper 40s. And not a whole lot of change as we look towards the weekend. Lots of sunshine Saturday, Sunday, but it will remain quite chilly. Temperatures well below average with highs both afternoons in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has you covered for all your custom printing, just in time for the holidays. And right now at Staples, you can save 40% on custom holiday cards and invitations. In-store and online offer ends 12/17. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Explore more at Staples, the working and learning store.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring. things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for two at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
You might not know this, but the Ingles Bakery is actually a bakery. As in, we bake things, really delicious things. Things like crusty breads just waiting for that scrumptious strawberry jam. Apple fritters to pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. Cakes for any occasion, customized to your precise standards. And did we mention the cookies? It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We are back in the Ingles studio, and Texas A&M. Is this a good job? Is it not a good job? Is this something that Deion Sanders would consider? So
I vehemently say no.
If you're just joining us in the last segment, Jeremy told the story of Charles Barkley says there's going to be a surprise opening or a surprise firing in the SEC this year.
And the conjecture immediately started, including with the podcast host, that it was Texas A&M, because that's the only one that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. And, Jeremy, you don't believe that this is a job that Deion would be interested in?
No.
Because there's too much competition in the SEC.
It's not that there's too much competition. It's just not a good job. I mean, just think about this. They've had 4 coaches since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Franchione, Mike Sherman, Kevin Sumlin, and Jimbo Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Only one of those is a big name, and I can tell you as somebody that's deeply connected to Florida State, he had one foot in the grave and one foot on a banana peel anyway. We all laughed when Texas A&M showed up with the blank check because we basically told Jimbo, you go right on ahead. You go right on ahead. You take that headache. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't value it to be a good job at all. They've always had a ton of money.
Yeah, they have, but they've never had the recruiting success that they've had now.
That's not 100% true either.
Really?
I mean, they always recruited well. Not to this level. This is new.
That's what I'm saying, though. In the world of NIL, they shelled out all the money, and they got the greatest recruiting class ever. You can't expect that team to come in with a lack of leadership, as you've always said Jimbo Fisher has.
Oh, he's a horrible coach. He's a horrible in-game coach.
Lack of leadership, lack of game plan, no developing players, making them better, all of that. Okay, but you have the recruits. But you have the money to get all the recruits that you want.
So does Jimbo Fisher.
Deion's not in this for him. Deion's not in this for his money. You said...
he's 100% in this for him.
Listen,
he's not in here for his money.
Wait a minute. That's what I'm saying.
But that's the only allure of Texas A&M.
He's not going in it for, you're going to give me $150 million or whatever. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is resources.
And that's the thing. You can't out-resource the SEC. Ask yourself this. I think the thing you're underselling here is Deion can do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
If Deion just wants to retire tomorrow, who's going to tell him no?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does he care?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me when I hit the where Texas A&M falls in, you let me know. Georgia, not even in the ballpark. Tennessee, not even in the ballpark. Florida, not even in the ballpark.
Of what?
Of Texas A&M. You tell me which one's a better job right now.
Okay.
The three I just said, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, Alabama. Then it starts to get a little
Right
dicey.
there.
And
That's the line.
I didn't say Oklahoma or Texas, which are coming in a year. They're both better. Yeah. And it's not even close.
I don't know about that.
Oh, in what regard? Historical success, you're 8, and you actually might be 9. We might put a layer of separation here just so you don't touch one of us.
Oh, sure.
Why would Deion Sanders sign up for that?
Because it's the biggest challenge in front of him.
And that's where this is where I think you're off on this. If it comes down to Georgia Tech or Texas A&M, you mark my words, he takes Georgia Tech.
Okay.
I'm in Atlanta with a school that does have some historical success, but it's a long time ago. I can get recruits anytime I want to because I'm right in the heart of Atlanta. And I'm in a conference where nobody can really mess with me. Clemson, Florida State, end of message, repeat the line. Yeah, Carolina's good with Mac Brown. Historically, not a great program.
Right.
And I think they will continue to be because Mac has elevated that job. Then you get to 5. Who exactly is that?
I understand.
Miami with Mario Cristobal, the 8th failed coach in a row. I feel like people take ease and they throw that out the window. Deion Sanders is not a grinder. He's not a Mike Houston or one of these guys that's grinded his way all the way up. And he will – I want a challenge. I want the money. I want to be in the Power 5. I want all of those things. That's not where he's at.
He wants the easiest job.
Not necessarily the easiest job. I'm not taking the hardest job in college football, which I think this is. I'm good. I don't need your money.
See, to me, I think that's what makes this alluring. I mean, Deion Sanders, if he is if he is everything that he's put himself out there to be over the years, he will not shy away from the biggest challenge that's out there. And just think about it.
And I'm not saying he would shy away from it. I'm saying he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. No, he doesn't have to. But do you think he's really afraid of Nick Saban? Do you not think he wants to swim in those waters? He already does, like the Aflac commercials with Nick and all that.
That's kind of my point. I swim in those waters at Jackson State. I don't need to be in your conference because he will get beat sideways. I'm telling you right now, and I think he knows that. From everything I've ever been told, Deion's a smart, pretty self-aware guy. That he knows I can't build a staff that's going to go beat Nick Saban. I can't build a staff that's going to go beat Brian Kelly. If Jimbo Fisher can't do it, who won a national title, why do I think I could do it?
See, I think completely different. Like if Texas A&M is in this position and they want prime time, they want Coach Prime to come and save them. I got them by the short and curlies. I can get anything I want. You let me pick my own staff. You let me do all of this.
He has that with anybody.
I'm sure he does.
I don't care who you are. You're not going to tell him what to do. He's going to do this of his own volition one way or the other. Look at the job he was interested in last year. Think about this. There was one job that he was vehemently angry he did not get offered, and he interviewed for
the TCU job?
The TCU job.
Yeah.
Why? Look where they are. I promise you it's not because Sonny Dykes is this great coach. That was a talented roster in a phenomenal market.
Texas A&M just landed the best recruiting class in the history of college football.
And they're 3-7.
So? You don't think Deion Sanders wants to bring Shedeur Sanders with him to Texas A&M, be on the big stage in the SEC with the best recruits in the nation?
Not at TCU. I'll go one step further. I think he'd take Auburn before he'd take Texas A&M.
Gee, you're crazy.
I do. I think he would take Auburn before he takes Texas A&M.
Why? Because the pressure's less?
Horrible fan base. Well, and you know what? Auburn's just as bad. Auburn's bad for a completely different reason. You know what? I take that back.
But why are they bad?
I take that back. Auburn has way, way too many decision makers. They have way too many boosters that have way too much call.
I thought you were saying Texas A&M.
They have the same problem. They have way too many boosters that have way too much power. Way. That's an awful job. If you don't believe me, Google the 3 that have been fired there.
Okay.
They've all said this on the way out of there is no leadership here whatsoever. The boosters control everything. I'm good. I can do that, or I can go to where I live, coach in a city that I love, where I'm one of the most famous people in the city,
no doubt.
And they won't tell me squirt. I can do anything I want to do. And I'm taking Georgia Tech. I'm not going to think about it.
And if Deion wants the easier job, then that's what he'll do.
See, and I feel like you're coming at this from the wrong angle.
Okay.
Yes, it's an easier job because the expectations are lower. It's also not a delusional job. Texas A&M is delusional. This is a fan base that expects to be Alabama. You're not. If I take the word money out of it, explain to me the allure of that. It's in the middle of nowhere. College Station, Texas is not exactly an alluring place to be.
Right.
You're in the toughest conference in America, and you have boosters that dictate everything you do. And I have every option that I want. I'll go a step further. I'd rather take the Arizona State job. And I wouldn't think about it for a second. I'm right outside of Phoenix in a hotbed market, much better place to live, in a conference that I can dominate just by doing the thing I already do. Recruiting's not going to be what puts you to the forefront in the SEC. They all recruit well. The top 25 of recruiting classes in America right now, you know how many of them are in the SEC? 10. You're not just going to out-recruit them. You're not going to beat Nick Saban this way. Now, he's not long for this. And who's going to replace him? Probably Dabo Swinney. Oh, great. Now I have to do this for 20 years. I'll pass. There's one thing about accepting a challenge. There's another walking into a situation where you cannot win.
See, I don't believe that's a situation you cannot win.
Well, you haven't for 40 years. So, I mean, there's nothing new here. The NIL thing, whoopee-woo. Everybody else can do that too.
But we have more money than everybody
and it's
else.
Not as much more as you think. Just remember this. Money always comes with strings. That's the problem at Auburn, and that's the problem at Texas A&M. That was the problem at Tennessee. And for whatever reason, they looked at Josh Heupel and went, "We believe in you."
Right.
Or Danny White. I don't know who it is they believe in.
I just feel
that
like
stopped, and they got good.
I just feel like if there's anybody that can break that, it's Deion. Look, I'm saying this because I think Deion could take a job like this and completely transform the culture there.
I agree with that, but not there. I don't think you can do it there.
And maybe not. Maybe
you
have
a coach that was coming off a national title. Now, it had been a couple years prior. But he has an unbelievable pedigree. Unbelievable pedigree. I would say he's probably the biggest coaching hire since Nick Saban.
Yes.
In terms of talent of coach that went somewhere. I never thought he was as good as everybody built him out to be. But in terms of making headlines and a splash, you're 5 years into this. They couldn't get him out of town fast enough. You don't think that guys with options are looking at that going, why would I do this? And just look at the other people that are talked about. Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze got carted out of town in disgrace and had to go to Liberty. That's call two. Lane Kiffin, he would laugh you out of the building if Texas A&M called him. I think he's going to do the same thing with Auburn. You mark my words, a week after the season is over, you'll see Lane Kiffin sign some gigantic deal. And the whole reason is because Auburn called, and he'll trot right into the AD's office and say, more money, please. There you go. You're not going to outspend this. I'm looking forward to – I want to see how high you take Texas A&M because I guarantee you it's 5 spots higher than I would.
Oh, it's going to be number one. It will be my first pick.
Then I'll give you the first pick because I don't need it.
It will be my first pick.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Because it is.
And there's one I would take over them that you're going to call me an idiot, but I can justify it.
Yeah. We will see. We'll have that fight coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 Thursday Night Football tonight. Coming up next, bangers from Flostradamus.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Hey folks, DG here. I have raved about Dr. Rebecca Merrill and her staff at Asheville Smiles for years now, and I hope you've already taken my advice. But don't just take my word for it. Gary recently gave a 5-star review online saying, quote, "I love the personal touch, !" They did a great job and explained everything they were doing. I am very happy we found Asheville Smiles, ! Believe me and Gary and the online review masses. And visit AshevilleSmiles.com.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Come and get it. In just 2 minutes, an Oral-B electric toothbrush can change your mind about what a toothbrush can do. In just 2 minutes a day, its dentist-inspired round brush head cleans 100% better than a regular brush. And in less time than the average commercial break, you can get that purifying, clean feeling like you just left the dentist. Not bad for just a couple of minutes. Oral-B. Brush like a pro. Come and get it.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com. Camp unloads right side, Duke to the end zone, overthrows everybody. Rockets win! Rockets win! This week on the Buncombe County Game of the Week, it's week 3 of the playoffs, and the Reynolds Rockets will be hosting Butler. The Rockets are coming off an exciting win over Chambers, while Butler knocked off Mooresville to earn the trip to come up the mountain. We get it all started with Sports Tank Friday at 6 o'clock. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 6:30 with a kickoff at 7. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Coffee closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Thursday night football. But it's not just the NFL game. We have a college game as well. The Tulane Squidbillies are taking on SMU. And Tulane's a 3.5-point favorite. And to me, that is laughably stupid. Did you not see the UCF game? I fell for it too. You don't have to do that because I'm here telling you, SMU not only wins this game, they win it convincingly. That Tulane defense is good. They don't score easily. And so you get a team that I've recently seen score 77 points. Yes, it was against the bald Dana Holgerson-led Houston Cougars. I don't care. If you can score at that level, you're going to outscore this team. Give me SMU plus the 3.5. I will say under 66, though. That number feels oddly high. Then tonight on Amazon Prime, the Tennessee Titans take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers are the 3-point favorite, over under 41. I'm going over this number. I don't think this game is ever close. I fully believe Green Bay comes out here and smokes Tennessee like a honey ham. Tennessee's hurt on a short week, and they can do one thing. I told you before the Dallas game, this is where I feel like Green Bay turn a page and you start seeing the team you expected them to be. Give me Green Bay minus the 3 over the 41.
And you can take those wagers over to BetUs.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put into the account, up to $2,500. No faith in the Tennessee Titans, huh?
I don't like this short week. I don't like this short week, and as soon as I saw the line, I went, oh, wait, that's weird. That's a bizarre line, especially since I get the Vegas poll every week, and I did the math. The line's 5.5 points off.
Wow.
That means you're either trying to bait people, which I don't buy. If you ever really want to know how Vegas leans, if you start seeing those key numbers, 3, 7, 10, 14, you rest assured they feel really good on a side, and I think it's Green Bay, and I think it's Green Bay by a lot.
All right, we'll have a full preview of the game coming up at the end of the program this afternoon here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up after the SportsCenter update, we will have our weekly Tar Heel time with Jones Angell, the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Tar Heels, I mean, you could not have expected this season to go as well as it has.
No, you got two gifts here. You got Georgia Tech, who's on their third quarterback, and NC State that might be on their 9th.
9-1 are the Tar Heels, far and away the champions of the Coastal Division. They will face off in Charlotte on December the 3rd against Clemson in the ACC championship game. And an ACC championship, I mean, it's something that I mean, I can't remember the last time Carolina was a champion in the ACC. It has to be in the 70s.
Oh, it's been a long time.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll talk to Jones about it up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Remaining unseasonably cold right through the upcoming weekend. Mainly clear skies here tonight, all the way down to the low 20s. Lots of sunshine for us again tomorrow, but again, another chilly day. Highs only in the middle to upper 40s. And not a whole lot of change as we look towards the weekend. Lots of sunshine Saturday, Sunday, but it will remain quite chilly. Temperatures well below average with highs both afternoons in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Temperatures getting low but demand remaining high? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Come and get it.
In just 2 minutes, an Oral-B electric toothbrush can change your mind about what a toothbrush can do. In just 2 minutes a day, its dentist-inspired round brush head cleans 100% better than a regular brush. And in less time than the average commercial break, you can get that purifying, clean feeling like you just left the dentist. Not bad for just a couple of minutes. Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
Come and get it.
Save up to 70% off at Mattress Warehouse's Season of Savings event. Stop by your local Mattress Warehouse today to take advantage of 0% financing and free next-day delivery and setup. Visit your local Mattress Warehouse today for savings.
Yellowstone, television's #1 show, is back on Paramount Network.
I, John Dutton, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the state of Montana against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Featuring an all-star cast led by Academy Award winner Kevin Costner.
The invasion is over.
They will fight you dirty.
Is there any other way?
As the Dutton family fights to protect their legacy, they'll learn power has a price.
Signing this is a declaration of war.
We're already at war.
Yellowstone. New episodes Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Paramount Network.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Responded to the struggles of their run defense in the absence of injured rookie Jordan Davis. Philadelphia signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh today to a one-year deal. He's the second defensive tackle Philly signed in back-to-back days. They brought in Linval Joseph yesterday. NFL Week 11 starts tonight when the Packers host the Titans. The last time the teams met, Green Bay won by 26 at Lambeau Field. Don't expect another blowout tonight, though, believes Titans radio network analyst and four-time Pro Bowler Blaine Bishop.
I think that's really what's going to happen in this game. I think whatever quarterback, and you got to lean towards Aaron Rodgers, being with his resume, can make more plays, are going to win this game. Naturally, both teams are going to try to run the football. That travels well, even in bad weather, but I think this is going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the wire.
Blaine Bishop on Barton Hahn. WNBA star Brittany Griner has begun serving her 9-year sentence for drug possession at a Russian penal colony about 200 miles east of Moscow. Penal colonies are known for having far harsher conditions than the Moscow jail where Griner had been since her detainment in February.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Grand. That's grand. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
You are in the Sportsocracy on a Thursday afternoon here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, live or on demand, and we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on that live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat each and every day. And, of course, it is 4 o'clock on a Thursday, and it's Tar Heel time with Jones Angell, the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Excuse me. Correction. The voice of the ACC Coastal Champion North Carolina Tar Heels. Number one in the ACC, or at least in the Coastal Division, number one in college basketball. Jones Angell, it's a good day to be a Tar Heel, isn't it?
Yeah, Tank, it was certainly another exciting game this past Saturday. A lot on the line, excuse me, for the Tar Heels, and they really performed. You know, it was a great start to the game against Wake Forest, got up early, withstood a run by the Deacs, and then as we've seen Carolina do multiple times this season, particularly on the defensive side, after having a game where, you know, it wasn't perfect from start to finish, they really made the plays when it mattered, and you know, that allowed them to get that 9th win, to stay undefeated on the road for the entire regular season, and to win that Coastal Division crown. And so they're excited, of course, to have that championship, and looking forward to heading to Charlotte here in a couple of weeks for another one. But I think the really cool part for the Tar Heels is that they can still accomplish more, and that they still have ways they can get better for sure this season. And so still a lot to do, and that starts this Saturday, or continues, I guess, a better way to say it, this Saturday against Georgia Tech.
Right, you are, and you think about how different this year's team is compared to other teams in Mac Brown's second tenure here. How many one-score games did Mac Brown lose in those first years? How many of these games did the Tar Heels get behind and not be able to find the defensive fortitude to be able to make stops and the offense come back and rally to win, like we've seen over and over this year? The long losing streak on the road, which they haven't lost a game on the road this year. It's just been one of those magical seasons, and it continues to roll on, and the Wake Forest game was just another example of that. Being able to come up with enough plays in the end to get the win.
Yeah, exactly. And what was it Bobby Bowden said? For you lose big, then you lose small, then you win small, then you win big. And
right.
I do think that there is something to that. I think there is something to learning to win. And even last year, it was pretty clear the Tar Heels were not a bad team. I mean, they had a solid squad, had a lot of talent, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't happening at the end of games. And I think, particularly that matchup with Pitt and the matchup with NC State at the end of the year highlighted the struggles that the Tar Heels had. I mean, those are two games that if you played them 100 times, the Tar Heels probably win that State game 99 out of 100 and win the Pitt game, maybe 80 times out of 100. And they couldn't get it done either time. And I think that just highlighted some of the struggles that particular team had. And so I think, as we've talked about this season, Tank, I think it was something that was focused on, that was worked on, and that once Carolina was able to find a little bit of success in some of those similar situations earlier in the year, then that success built to more success. And so it's a big credit to them. Their final two games of the regular season are at home, so they are going to finish undefeated on the road at 6-0, and those 6 wins were by a total of 20 points. So it wasn't easy. The largest margin of road victory was 7. So this was a very nip-and-tuck year in that regard on the road for Carolina, and it's a big credit to them for finding ways to win it because it wasn't exactly the same every week, but some of the themes were the same, and that was the defense stepping up big with big turnovers and turnover on downs and stops on the goal line and those kind of things at key moments, and of course the offense competing and executing at a really high level like it has all season.
Excuse me, I almost choked to death there. We saw earlier this week, I believe it was in the New York Times, there was an article in their sports section about how you cannot ignore Drake May on a national scale any longer. After the shootout that they had between him and Sam Hartman in that game against Wake Forest, it's time. Basically, the gist of it was it's time for the nation to come to the realization that Drake May is a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
When you see him each and every week, are there still things? I mean, obviously he continues to learn, but are there things that you see in breaking down the game where you go, "Wow, that was new. I didn't see that before"?
Well, I think he's just becoming a more mature, smarter quarterback. And, by that I mean the physical talent has always been there. You've, even from the very beginning, seen his ability to run. Yeah, he can really make some impressive throws, and he can make them off balance as well. I mean, he doesn't have to be perfectly set, with his weight perfectly distributed and both his feet underneath him, just how you want it. He doesn't have to have that to be able to throw the ball accurately. There was one play that he made against Wake Forest that was out there on the internet earlier in this week, just kind of making its rounds of, him scrambling to his left and throwing an absolute dart to J.J. Jones in double coverage for a first down. And so all that's always been there. But I think what he is growing in, Tank, is the management of the game a little bit and just being a smarter quarterback. I mean, we had the talk earlier in the year about him taking some unnecessary hits. That is diminished significantly. He is sliding more effectively and smartly. He's given himself up on those type of plays when it makes sense to do so. Even last week against Wake Forest, there were a couple plays in fact, the last 2 plays before Carolina kicked the field goal that ultimately won the game, where he threw the ball out of bounds instead of trying to force something in the end zone in what would have been a critical mistake if that gets intercepted. And so just him growing in that way, I think, has been fun to watch, because all the other stuff has been there and has been there for a long time that has made you go, wow, and that's unusual. But for him to now mix in some of the things that you get by being a starter for a full season, by seeing more defenses, by being in different situations, I just think it's making him a better player all the way around.
Right, you are, and it's just funny to think that before the season started, we were talking about a quarterback position, a position battle between him and Jacoby Criswell, and to see what Drake May has turned in this season, it's just kind of, hindsight's 20/20, obviously. Not trying to say anything against Jacoby. It's just you wouldn't have expected to go from having a question mark at quarterback to going, that's a guy that's second or third in the Heisman talk right now at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I do. I'll give a lot of credit to Jacoby Criswell. He could be starting at a lot of places right now, and who knows what's going to happen when this season comes to a close for him. But he has never pouted. He's never created drama. He's never been anything but a really high-quality teammate and ready to go in if his number is called. And I think that's a credit first and foremost to him. And it's a credit to Phil Longo, Carolina's offensive coordinator, for the type of, and he's the quarterback's coach as well, for the type of environment that he has cultured in that quarterback room. Those guys really are a close group. They cheer for each other. They want each other to be successful, even though you are competing against the others for playing time. And I think Jacoby's a terrific example of that, because that isn't the norm all the time. And especially now with the transfer portal, and a lot of guys just as soon as they don't get what they want, they're out the door. And that has never been Jacoby this season. He has been a real positive influence. I think he's continued to push Drake, and I think it's just made Drake better. It's made Jacoby better, and it's made the Tar Heels better.
This weekend, we are going to have the game against Georgia Tech. You'll hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. 5:30 is the kickoff time, and 4:30 will be the pregame start here on ESPN Asheville. Georgia Tech, what do they bring to the table, and what are the things that the coaching staff is going to be keying on here to avoid that quote-unquote bad loss?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it is the fact that this game has the potential to be a letdown or a trap type of game. You're coming off that victory where you secured the division title. You have a rival in NC State, along with Duke and Virginia, one of your biggest rivals coming up next week. You have that championship game in the near future. And so I think first and foremost, it is keeping the mindset of where it has been. I don't think that will be a huge problem for Carolina because of the fact that they still do have a lot to play for, with not only the championship game, but the potential, the outside shot, but still a shot at a college football playoff berth. And none of that's going to happen unless you keep winning. And the fact that I think Carolina knows it can still be so much better. It's not as though the Tar Heels have just been steamrolling people, or that they've gone out there and played 60 perfect minutes of football. There's a lot more that they can improve on, and I think that's a positive when you have the record that Carolina does, but have that still very clear room for growth. So that's number one, is making sure the mindset is right. And then for Georgia Tech, it's been a tough year for the Jackets. They fired their coach, Jeff Collins, after the fourth week. I think Brent Key, their interim coach, has done a really nice job. They're 3-3 since he took over, including a road win at Pitt. That's a hard place to go win. A win over Duke, and we know Duke has a solid team this season. So they've been playing well. They've been hit with injuries at the quarterback spot. They're at their now third-string quarterback, and that's tough. Any team, when it went from its starter to its third-string QB, is going to take a step back, and so that's hurt them. They have struggled to move the ball consistently, really in total this year, but they really do a nice job defensively. They have two of the best linebackers in the conference, Charlie Thomas and Ayenli Ely. Those two guys are 4th and 5th in the conference in tackles, and they're kind of like Carolina defensively, Tank, just in the way that they're built. I mean, those two linebackers, just like Ced Gray and Power Echols for the Tar Heels, really are the start and the finish for what they're trying to do. They're trying to get those guys active and to the ball, and they've done a really good job with it. So they've got a stout defense and offense that has struggled, and a team that still can qualify for a bowl. Now, it will be a challenge. They've got to win at Carolina and at Georgia. Obviously, those are two very difficult road trips, but it's a team that even after the coaching change has continued to play hard. They've been in almost every game. Really only once Florida State got them pretty good, but every other game has been very competitive, and they fought till the end every single time. So they'll come to Carolina, I think, understanding that they have an uphill fight, but it's a fight that they're willing to take on.
Indeed, and North Carolina going to bring the fight this weekend. At number 13 team in the latest college football playoff rankings. It's been a magical season at 9-1, 6-0 in conference play, and hopes are high as the Tar Heels look to not only get the win here, but also on Black Friday in the big rivalry game against NC State. We're not going to have another opportunity to touch base with you since obviously we're not going to be doing a Tar Heel time on Thanksgiving. You're welcome. But the NC State game as well, I mean, that looms large, and that also sets up as another possible trap situation. A team that's been hemorrhaged by injury and letdown in the last few weeks. And NC State, they would love to play spoiler.
Sure. And that's always an emotional game. And it truly is one of those where it doesn't matter who's having the better year or who's got the better record or any of that. It really is an emotional kind of one-time thing every time that they meet. And by that, I mean, it just doesn't matter. Both teams are going to come in juiced up. It's going to be an electric atmosphere, and there'll be a lot of excitement around the ball game. And so Carolina's going to get State's best shot, and State should expect to get Carolina's best shot. That's how those games normally play out. Pretty clearly, State has one of the best defenses in the ACC. That'll be a real battle against a really good Carolina offense against that State defense, which has been equally as good on that side of the ball. They've got a veteran team, a lot of guys who played a lot of football together, and so they'll be ready to go, and they understand what that game means to their fan base and how important it will be for them. And they're still trying to improve their postseason standing. Obviously, they've already qualified for a bowl, but they want to try to finish the regular season strong and get themselves to a better spot. And for Carolina, in addition to all of that, Tank, I do think there's still some real big disappointment from what happened last year. That's a game that Carolina should have won. You're up 9 with 2.5 minutes left. You got to try to lose it. And the Tar Heels did about everything they could wrong over those last few minutes that allowed State to have a great comeback and a victory. And so I think that will, while nothing you can do now will change that, I do think there'll be some motivation there from the Tar Heel side as well because they were so disappointed a season ago.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. I had forgotten about that and put that away, and now you've brought up those bad old feelings, and now I just can't wait to just see the Tar Heels roll against NC State coming up on Black Friday next week. And then obviously we will touch base with you before the Tar Heels get a chance in the ACC championship game against Clemson. But before we let you go here, let's talk some basketball real quick. 3 games under the belts, and none of them have been as impressive as fans would want them to be. And I'm starting to, it's hard not to pay attention to the fan message boards and the Facebook groups and all that. There seems to be some discontent among the Tar Heel faithful about the close wins that have taken place against UNC Wilmington, Charleston, and Gardner-Webb. Yeah,
I don't think Carolina's played very well so far. I think that second half against Charleston, they looked really, really good. But other than that, I don't think Carolina's looked very smooth, very in sync. I think it's been a bigger struggle on the offensive side than was anticipated. They haven't rebounded very well. I thought they played well defensively against Wilmington, but they really haven't in the last 2 games. And all of that, while not unusual for November, I do think with the amount of experience that Carolina had returning, you would think that they'd be a little further along with some of those things. I am not surprised that Carolina is maybe riding a little fat and happy, if you will. I think Carolina, the Tar Heels have been told for 6 months now how awesome they are. And they came in with the number 1 ranking. And you've got the world of NIL, which is a college reality now. And I kind of thought going into this year that at some point the Tar Heels were going to get got by somebody, and that would wake them up a little bit. It has been a surprise that they have been that these games have been as close as they've been, because I do think Carolina is significantly more talented than College of Charleston and Gardner-Webb and UNCW. Hubert Davis said after the game on Tuesday, he felt like his team was playing with a weight. And it just seems like the Tar Heels aren't having a lot of fun, and that it's a lot of work. And I think that is NIL. I think that is number 1 in the preseason. I think that is trying to be as good as you were last year right now. I think that is thinking about the NBA. I think it's all of it. And so for Carolina, you've got to find a way to shed that weight. You've got to find a way to be able to play a little more freely. And I think that's easy to say, but maybe not quite as easy to do. There's no doubt that Carolina has talent. The Tar Heels have experience. The Tar Heels have good players. None of that is in doubt. I think Carolina needs to figure out how this group can best be successful. And they need to realize that nothing that happened in March and April means squat in November. You don't get 1 extra point or 1 extra rebound or 1 extra defensive stop because of something you've done in the past. And so as the sooner Carolina can shed that, I think you'll start to see a more well-oiled basketball team.
Well, they need to, really get the message across here, because the competition is going to take a step up here pretty quickly with the Phil Knight Invitational coming up. You got Indiana in the Big 12 or the Big 10 ACC Challenge. It's going to take a step up.
Yeah, and I'll just say quickly, because I know you got to go to break.
Yep.
James Madison on Sunday, that is not a pushover game. They're 4-0. They've scored 95 or more points in every game. They're shooting 60% from the field, 54% from 3, and they're out-rebounding their opponents by 15 per game. And they're forcing nearly 25 turnovers a game. So now, granted, the competition, as you can imagine, with those type of numbers, haven't been super strong. But it's a team that's coming in with a lot of momentum, that feels like it's playing well, and that looks and says, hey, if we keep playing like that and the Tar Heels keep playing like what they've showed on tape the first 3 games, we can win that game. So Carolina's got to be ready for a confident team, not worried about Oregon, not worried about Indiana. They got to worry about Sunday in James Madison.
Exactly, they do. And you'll hear all the Tar Heel action, football and basketball, right here on ESPN Asheville with the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell. Always a pleasure to you. Have a happy Thanksgiving, man, and we will touch base with you after the holiday.
Sounds good, Tank. Talk to you soon.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 eastbound between exit 2 and exit 4A. 240 on the westbound side stop and go between Chun's Cove Road and exit 4A. Future 26 westbound crawling between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound stop and go in Haywood County between NC 209 and US 276. Merriman Avenue northbound is slow between Hillside Street near Claxton Elementary School, continuing to North Merriman Avenue near the Woodfin YMCA. In Fletcher, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Friday Health Plans. Friday Health Plans is designed for people who buy their own health insurance, with benefits like unlimited $0 primary care and mental health visits. Get a quote at FridayHealthPlans.com and see if you qualify for $10 insurance. All plans issued by Friday Health Plans of North Carolina, Inc.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you more of what you love, like premium travel benefits and access to Taylor Swift tickets. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. Plus, get access to Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, presented by Capital One. Maybe I'll see you there. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for 2 at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Ahoy, matey! At Ingles, our extensive seafood department offers a huge variety. From your local catch to flavors from around the world. Wild sashimi tuna, Charleston crab cakes, mountains of shrimp, bourbon salmon, wild mahi-mahi with mango salsa. It's enough to make any salty sea captain ready to set a course for the bounteous treasure of the Ingles Seafood Department. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Yes, it was 1980 was the last time the Tar Heels won an ACC championship in football. Never has it been done in my lifetime. And there's a part of me that still hopes that it doesn't. Because if it does happen, I'm going to owe my mom an all-expenses-paid trip to the Bahamas, and I don't really want to do that.
That's one of those times where you made a bet that you couldn't pay off on.
I did, because I thought it would never happen. But here we are, and go Tar Heels, go. Don't forget to play DFS with us each and every week. The battle for the belt continues, and look, it doesn't matter if you haven't played with us all year because we do this NASCAR style. If you win 1 week in the DFS Battle for the Belt contest, then you are in the finals for the not only the belt, but also the big prize pack.
And please, for all that's good and holy, use the link that's in the YouTube description. We've had some double ups. I can't get DraftKings to stop making them. I've tried.
Which is unfortunate.
It is. And I keep getting sent standings, so I'm going to put the standings out tomorrow. If you think your score is wrong, feel free to shoot me a message with a screenshot of what you've got. There are multiples all over the place. I think I've got them all, but I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want anybody to get left out. Don't want to miss anything. So I've been scouring to make sure that I have the links to all of them.
Yeah. I'm hoping to pull the old I was trying to think, who was it? Was it Denny Hamlin that got into the playoffs last year, I believe it was, without winning a race?
Well, I mean, you're going to get in.
I hope so.
You're going to be at a pretty drastic disadvantage because you're like the Ryan Newman of
the Ryan Newman. I was hoping you were going to go Blaney. I was like, I feel pretty good about that.
No, good Lord, no. Ryan Blaney's way too good of a racer for me to compare you to him.
Oh,
you're like what was that kid's name that won one random race?
Jamie McMurray.
Not a terrible comparison, but that's not who I was thinking of. No, this guy usually finished about 25th and then randomly won one race. And every time they'd show the standings, I'd go, oh, yeah, you remember that race where that kid just stayed out? And then the rain started and he won?
Oh, I was at that race, I think.
That guy.
I believe I was there. That was the Coca-Cola 600 back in 07 or something.
I'm going to remember his name before this is all said and done. You're going to take great offense to it, I think.
No, it's really not offensive to me. Look, I'm not the fantasy expert, especially not the DFS expert that you guys are. I consider myself lucky to sometimes be in the top 5. I'm very pre-2022 Bubba Wallace. Like, I'm just glad to be here.
Chris Buescher was the one I was referring to.
There you go. That's
you are the Chris Buescher of this here DFS contest.
Indeed.
It's okay. I hadn't won a week either. Now, I have finished second 4 times, which, that's a thing. In terms of players that have not won, I am number 1 by a good amount.
Nice.
Adam Harris won last week. He is in. We've got a couple more weeks of qualification.
He was so happy about that, too.
I know. He texted me.
He texted me, too.
He texted me and said, I thought I was going to miss the playoffs in this thing, and I was going to be really sad.
Exactly. Because he is one that has built quite the little bankroll doing DFS.
Yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell him, you're 1 spot behind me. There's one guy in between me and you, or was until you won. And now you're ahead of me.
Right. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Get in the DFS contest. The link is in the description of the YouTube video. We've also got it posted up on the social medias for you to get in on. It's a fun little venture every week just to see where you stack up against everybody else in the listening audience here.
And hey, there can only be one winner. But at the end of the day, you should feel good knowing that we raised a lot of money for a great charity right here in Buncombe County, Western North Carolina, right around Christmas.
That's right. And Evelyn Charity St. Nicholas Project, we will be supporting them throughout the Christmas season here. And we will be live on Monday. I said yesterday that it was for the toy drive, and I was wrong. It's not the toy drive. We'll be doing that later on as we get closer to the holiday season. But coming up on Monday, we're going to be live from the Asheville Outlets doing the lighting of the Ingles Giving Tree. This is the charitable event that Ingles sponsors each and every year for Manna Food Bank to get enough meals for the needy in our area as well. So I apologize for getting that wrong yesterday. And we still encourage everybody to come out for the lighting of the Ingles Giving Tree with us on Monday. Come hang out with us. We'll be there doing the show live. And the lighting of the tree happens about 6, 7 o'clock, something like that.
It's right in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I had to ask sports freak Brian Hall, is somebody going to tell me how to connect all these things? The exact response was, you're pretty tech savvy. I think you got this.
I think you can figure it out.
Sweet. I do.
Oh, of course. Of course, you'll be able to figure that out. No problem. All right, it is that time. It's time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Well, Jeremy told me I couldn't tell the story that I wanted to tell.
No.
In this segment.
No, you could not.
It was quite hilarious. It happened in Florida, and there may have been a dog involved. But that's as far as I can go into detail on this here program.
You're already pushing it
I know,
a little bit anyway.
I know. Anyway, so I will tell you this story that a 95-year-old Chinese war veteran recently found out something that he had been living with for 77 years. This man from Shandong, China, he was a World War II veteran. And he just found out when he went to the doctor just a couple of months ago, had an x-ray, and they went, what's that? And he went, what are you talking about? Well, this thing in your neck. What is that? It was a bullet. He'd been living with a bullet in his neck for 77 years and had no idea.
How do you not know that?
I don't know. You would think at some point you would, I don't know, it would shift and you would feel it against your spine.
I'm more thinking when it went in your skin, you would have gone, oh, I'm shot and bleeding.
Right. He did, after 77 years, finally started to feel some what they call slight